So I'm here with Clayton Yates himself, the TT1 winner at National Championships. I'm here mainly, I just want some answers about this car and the setup you got. So what's up with these wheels? These don't look very race wheelie like.
No, these are my street wheels. So I drive this car on the street too. I take me and my wife go to dinner in a date night car sometimes. I mean, not as much anymore, but yeah, I still drive it on the street. We drove it out here. So.
No, that's awesome. So I guess is that some type of flex you got on those other racers? You can show that this is still a street car. You still got AC in this?
Definitely. AC, adjustable passenger seat.
Okay,
yep.
I like it. All right, let's start up front. The splitter, I don't think I've seen this on any websites before. Is this homemade? Like, what's the story with that?
Yeah, so I do woodwork, so I make splitters. This is actually made out of wood, and I coat it in a like a truck bed liner. But yeah, I mean, it's got all the elements that you need in a splitter. It's got the proper front edge. You know, you need that nice leading edge. Most of the work happens underneath on a splitter, and this splitter's got, you know, the tunnels in it. It's nice and flat. It's got countersunk hardware. So everything I can do to make that underneath side of the splitter create as much downforce as possible.
Okay, I love it. Now, splitter, that's great. Front grip, downforce, awesome. Tell me about these vents in the hood. Is this helping? Is this for looks?
Yeah, no, definitely not for looks. This is for heat extraction. So you always want to get the air out from underneath the car. So any air that you can get up over, the better. So this is replaces the factory. This is from race louvers, and it increases downforce pretty significantly.
All right, I can't see too much, but you think we can get you to pop the hood? You know, everyone wants you to pop the hood. Oh, forgot. That's a Corvette thing. Opens forward. Okay, I like it. So, I mean, not to insult you, but I mean, it looks pretty stock. Am I right or am I wrong? What's going on here?
It's pretty stock. Most of the engine is stock. It does have an aftermarket camshaft. Running the stock blower unported. It's actually got a bigger upper pulley on it. Most people run a smaller pulley to increase the boost. I've actually decreased the boost.
What?
To make the supercharger more efficient. These things can kind of act like heat pumps, so you turn them down a little bit, they run a little bit more efficiently, and you can keep the power that you have. So yeah, big giant 5-inch cold air intake. That's by Corvette. It's tuned by UMS. The cam was done by Premier Performance in northern Utah. It's got a catch can, you know, some basic bolt-ons, ported throttle body, stock exhaust.
I kind of thought you would be pushing like 1,000 horsepower or something, but after looking at your classification, that's not true, right?
Yeah, no, it made 630 on the last dyno pull. So peak was 630. Which is well below where I can be for that class. So there's definitely some more in it. I can bring the power up a little bit and you know, be better for NASA classification. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty impressive with those horsepower. So coming down to the side again, so you said this is not the race setup. This is your daily driving wheels. Yep. Definitely understandable. Probably don't want to run Hoosiers on the road, correct?
Nope, definitely don't want to run Hoosiers. They're really soft, especially the A7s. So these are my race wheels right here. These are the SM10RSs. These are the wheels that have got me a couple championships, big wins on these wheels. This is a 19 by 11 front and a 19 by 12.5 rear. You know, some 200 tread wears you might be able to get away with it, but still you heat cycle those out.
All right, what about the brakes here? Anything aftermarket going on? Is this OEM?
All OEM except for G-Lock race pads. That's one of the things that's impressed me the most about this car is I'm running the stock iron disc front and rear brakes. The only change, like I said, is G-Lock pads and upgraded brake fluid. It's completely transformed the braking capability of this car. These are the R12 compound in the front and in the rear. So G-Lock R12s.
Wow,
really good pads.
I love it. It's just the more and more, you know, OEM stuff you're using, just with a little bit of upgrade of pad and fluid, it sounds like. So essentially someone can kind of take this car, do a couple mods to it. It sounds like you're going after the more track reliability approach. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. One of the main things I found is to focus on the driving. Start with a platform that's really good to start with. Do the mods that are needed to take it to the next level, and then focus on maximizing that car. So using MCS remote reservoir, two-way adjustable. It's actually custom valved by Pro Parts USA, Jeff Wong. the one that chose all the spring rates and everything for me. So here's my front reservoirs. That's where I control the compression, and the rebound I can control from underneath the car. But yeah, that's probably one of the biggest improvements to this car was getting rid of that Corvette style leaf spring and running you know, full coilover setup with adjustability.
Awesome. Let's check out this interior. Looks like you do got a race seat, probably for just driver comfortability, keeping you in the seat. Am I right?
Exactly. So yeah, you gotta stay held in place. So got the harness here. There's a half cage back here, you know, to connect the harnesses and stuff too. A little bit of extra safety for sure. But besides that, the interior is actually stock. It does have a MGW shifter. That dramatically improves the car. Another thing that really helps on these cars is having the correct shift knob. You need something that has leverage, because one thing that most people don't realize about the Corvette is it is a very difficult car to shift. You have first, third, fifth, and seventh gear. You got 4 gears along the front here. And when you're out on track and you're going for that 4 or 5 shift, if you have a nice long you know, leveraged knob like this, you can actually get it into fifth a lot easier. So it's just, you know, it becomes just natural, just you go up like that and you can get fifth. That's been solved with the MGW and this shift knob here. So,
awesome. Yeah. You got any good stories, any money shifts that going on in here?
Yep, I've money shifted it twice.
Damn!
Luckily, I had data going at the time. I went back and looked at the RPM that it hit, and it never really went past like 7,300. So that's still kind of in the safe zone, especially kind of like free revving. It wasn't like full throttle all the way up there, just for a quick second.
Good to know, especially for some people maybe in the market for a C7 Corvette. What about sway bars? Are we running OEM, aftermarket?
Yeah, so for sway bars, surprisingly enough, I'm running the factory rear sway bar, but I'm running the AFE front sway bar. So the rear is stock, the front is aftermarket. I've tried aftermarket bars, I've tried the stock bar in the front, and this is the setup that I found to work best for me. So for the remote reservoirs here in the back, I have taken out this, there's a piece of carpet that goes here, I've taken that out.
The elephant in the room, this wing. What's the story with this guy? Is it doing what it should be? Is it just for having dinner on?
Well, it definitely works, and how I know it works is at a SCCA time trial event, I actually had a wing mount broke in the middle of a corner.
Oh my God! Wow!
And I lost all rear grip, and I was so surprised at how much the wing was holding the car down. But yes, every time I make an adjustment to the rear wing, I can feel the difference out on track. So this is a dual element. It's a Cognition. That company, unfortunately, I don't think they're around anymore. But this is an old Cognition carbon wing, and this is actually a 9 Lives second element. And then these are some custom end plates I made and set back just a little bit further. But besides that, I mean, it's a pretty basic wing. But yeah, I found the dual element to work better for you know, it's for all out time attack, hard driving, really pushing the car. Downforce is kind of everything.
Yeah, no, it really complements the car. I love the look of it, to say myself. What about exhausts? These look like stock tips, but I can tell you the car does not sound stock.
Yeah, so surprisingly, the GM from the factory has the dual mode exhaust. This is the factory dual mode exhaust. You can open up the valves and leave it in what's called race mode or loud mode. And it opens up these outer pipes here and makes it kind of a straight through design. So it is very loud. Yeah, it's definitely loud.
So are you thinking about going aftermarket? Do you have headers, cat delete, kind of what's going on completely under there that we can't see?
So the rest of it is it's got an aftermarket X pipe that deletes the secondary cats. The primary cats are also deleted, but the exhaust manifolds are the stock exhaust manifolds. And I've done that for a few reasons. Number one is they flow really well. Number two is heat management. The stock exhaust manifolds are cast iron. They hold the heat in. They also have factory heat shields. So anything I can do to keep the heat down is, you know, quite a big help. But it also has this back here. This is the JMS Voltage Booster. So the good thing about this is it actually ups the voltage to the fuel pumps. and allows you to run your stock pumps. So, you know, every time I can leave a part stock and get the performance out of it I need without pushing, you know, what that part can do, I feel like it makes a more reliable race car. And that's kind of proven the point with this car. It's been very reliable.
Yeah, I love just hearing the words OEM, stock. I watched you out there at Utah, the car's flying, you're fast yourself. What's up with Downforce Coaching? I believe, is that the face of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it seems like you got a good program going with that, you know, teaching drivers, you know, don't outdrive the car, figure your limits, don't go out there and buy your time. And it's kind of like you have the proof to the pudding here, right?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I noticed when I first started getting heavily into competition was, you know, people would always say to me, more track time is better. It almost turned into like a cliche, stop buying parts for your car and start buying track days. So, you know, that's kind of what developed Downforce Coaching. Is there's just such a need to empower drivers instead of, you know, them out there modifying their cars more and more and more, because you'd be very surprised what a modern sports car can do today. With a good set of wheels, tires, and lots of driving lessons, you can take a stock car and be competitive in it in almost any racing series. And I truly believe that. And the reason why is because, you know, GM, Ford, you know, Toyota, there's...
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
There's so many good options for really strong performing cars out of the box, and they spend a lot of time engineering them. So my thought is, if you spend money on coaching, that stays with you forever. And if you modify a car, chances are that you're not going to get any return on that investment. And a lot of times it'll make the car slower. So you see all these big, you know, big money builds out there, and they're 10 seconds off pace or whatever of what a driver in a stock car that's really practicing, working hard, trying to hone his skill can do.
So me growing up, need for speed and just trying to do all the races I can to buy every modded part, relay back into my personal race car or anything, right?
No, you definitely cannot buy lap time. I mean, obviously you can improve your car, but if you don't get there as a driver yourself, no matter what you do to that car, it's never going to get you, you know, to that top competitive level. And that's kind of the rule for Time Attack, is you have to grow as a person, hone your skills, focus on skills such as a simulator, practicing on a simulator, or working with a driving coach. All of those things need to be done first.
No, I appreciate all the speed secrets and everything. If you had a novice driver out there trying to get a hold of you, where should they go? What should they do to get you on Downforce Coaching?
So they can reach us at on our Instagram, our Downforce Coaching Instagram. They can reach out on our YouTube channel.
Awesome. Yeah. So just go ahead and tag you in something. You'll follow up and get a hold of them and make them a better driver.
Yes, I would love to do that.
Well, thank you so much, Clayton, for taking us around this car. I know probably so many people just had questions and curious just what you were hiding either under the hood, the suspension, in the car. And from what I can see, everyone, this car is pretty stock, but everywhere it's not is in the right place. He did it for probably at a great budget. So you don't have to have that 1,000 horsepower car out there. Start where you need to, you know, get used to the car, be comfortable. And Clayton's proof. He's right here, everyone. And like I said, I'm glad we were able to get into this car in detail just to see, you know, what he had and what he was doing. And it sounds like it's a lot into the driver.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing is, you know, another thing Downforce can help you with is setting up your car. So setting up your suspension. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's definitely, you know, some secrets here as far as getting the suspension set up. But that's, you know, finding that last couple tenths. Like I said, you got to focus on the driver. But once you get to where you feel comfortable in the car, you know, there's some ways to find more time in setting up your suspension, getting your spring rates right, all that stuff. The aero is huge. It's got to be right. Build so much confidence when you're behind the wheel if you have the downforce right. And we can help you get your car set up.
Awesome. Well, you heard it, everyone. Like I said, if you need that help, you need tips and tricks, reach out. Clayton Yates. You can find him at Downforce Coaching on YouTube and Instagram.